Monday the 2nd of August. Animation director Alan and producer Marion are travelling to Scotland to meet Harry Horse, award-winning author of The Last Polar Bears, one of a series of books about Roo the dog. The Last Polar Bears tells the tale of an eccentric grandfather who embarks on an expedition to the North Pole to see polar bears in the wild. Harry decided to base grandfather's travelling companion on his own dog, Roo.
Hi, Alan.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Harry. And this must be Roo.
Hello. Great.
Good. Come in.
Thank you.
Who's
Oh,
the
it's
stick?
big.
The director, Alan, has come to talk to Harry about turning his book into an animated film.
Can you tell us a little bit about Roo? Because she's different than she is in the book.
Yeah, we've had Roo for about 10 years, and we think that she's maybe 11 or 12 years old. But she was found on a motorway outside Edinburgh when she was about a year old, and the police picked her up and took her to a cat and dog home. And when Mandy and I got married, we went along to this dog home, and there she was, and took her home. I thought that she was an amazing looking dog, because she's just a little mongrel. She's not any particular type of breed, but she's got very sort of soulful eyes. And I started writing a book about her, and I put her very much as the hero.
Yeah.
And it just didn't really work. And it wasn't until Mandy went up to Shetland to see her mum and dad, and I was left on my own with Roo. We lived in a very remote cottage in the borders of Scotland.
Right.
And we had a big snowstorm that night, and because Mandy wasn't there to give her dinner, she ate all this ham on the kitchen table. I think she was panicking that we were in a snowstorm,
Yes.
we're cut off, we might as well eat the provisions straight away. It really was fortuitous that in just one night I was able to write this story, and obviously I didn't finish it in that night.
Yeah.
But I got the whole bones of it down, and I was writing sort of feverishly till sort of 4 o'clock in the morning. Of course, Roo in the room with me,
Yeah.
no idea as to what I was doing, and so I wanted her to be an anti-hero, I suppose, if you can.
Yeah, she
say
is. She's
that.
not too cute, is she? She's,
No, she does exactly as she pleases. I started then doing little drawings of her, and I think that because I felt that they would be very inept travellers, and hence the golf trolley. They would have this old golf trolley rather than a sledge. He couldn't afford a proper sledge. He wanted to take a husky, but Roo had to do.
Well, told us about Roo. What about grandfather? Because he's the other star of the book, really.
Well, he's very much based on my grandfather. He spoke 11 languages. He was a linguist and a historian, and he when I was very small, he certainly encouraged me to speak French, and he taught me to love books, and is therefore probably the biggest influence in my life. And because of him, I've chosen this as a career.
So in characters, he's similar to the character in the book. Was he an adventurer? Or
Yes, he was an adventurer. He travelled extensively around the world, and he also wrote a lot of letters back to his mother.
Oh, right.
And daily he would write postcards and letters back.
Fantastic.
But his character is he was a very gentle man.
What about the other characters? Because you've got Grogmans and Jackson.
Jackson is a friend of mine, Alan Jackson, a poet.
Wow.
And
Well, it would be
drawings
good
of him.
because we'll have to have Jackson in the film as well. So we'll have to do a caricature, or if there's anything you can send us as reference for.
I've done lots of
Jackson.
drawings of Jackson.
Oh, great.
So
Yeah. One of the things is the penguins.
yeah.
You're keen that we should keep the penguins in.
I am, although there aren't any penguins in the North Pole, as has been pointed out to me. A 7-year-old boy wrote to me in a very scientific manner, pointing out that there were no penguins in the North Pole.
Yeah.
And I think that grandfather was mistaken. It was a mistake, but then I don't think there are wolves in the North Pole either.
It's obviously going to be slightly different from the book, but we'll keep the wolves in. We'll keep as much as we can in.
Starts here, and it goes through over to here. Okay, we've overlapped
How many
it.
weeks is that?
16 weeks.
Wednesday, the 4th of August. Back in London, the production team begin to plan and schedule the animation.
Ink and paint. We start...
Everything must be planned to the minutest detail, because over the next 10 months, more than 85 different people will be involved in bringing Rue's story to life. Meanwhile, back in Scotland, Rue and Harry and Mandy will have to wait almost a year before they see the finished film.
So we've worked out the beginning, more or less. We've done the journey. Editing.
Thursday, the 24th of August.
It's lovely.
One of the first people to start working on the film is Trevor, the storyboard artist.
Penguins, yes. As a kind of welcoming committee.
But well, there actually aren't penguins in the Arctic, but it's
No.
funny.
Well, it's obviously a new breed of penguin.
Well, it's funny if we can
undiscovered breed
use
of
them as
penguin.
much as possible.
It is Trevor's job to tell the story in a series of pictures, like a comic. Monday, the 27th of September. The storyboard is then timed and edited down to an exact running time of 25 minutes.
Shall we look at the Jackson sequence again? It's not going to be easy to cut down, is it? I mean, it's a short sequence as it is.
It's just about possible, but I think we're really talking about taking it out.
Yeah. We could. I mean, it's not really carrying the story forward, is it? Well, we'll just have to tell Harry then that Jackson's out.
You can tell him.
Okay. No, I've no problems with that. Okay, nice to hear you. I'll speak soon. All right, Alan. Bye-bye.
We'll keep the line quality.
Wednesday, the 29th of September. Now the layout artist, Neil, can start.
This is great here.
Using the storyboard, he will design each scene in detail, plotting the camera moves and drawing up the backgrounds so that they work with the character animation.
The other thing is the ship. It's got to be exactly as Harry draws it, but it's whether there's some shots that we've planned on the storyboard where it is three-dimensional.
When we have to turn the boat, we have
Yes.
to build it in 3D,
Right.
and
Yeah.
we use that information to help the animator. It
Yeah.
could go through a process where you can get the line quality
Yeah.
to look drawn,
Yes.
render it out and
Yeah.
put it into Animo, paint it up.
Yeah. So we'd do all the other elements would be drawn, like
Mhm.
the sea.
Yep.
And any effects.
Yeah, all the smoke,
Yeah.
waves, this little rope. Get all the fine details in there.
While the 3D ship and the layouts are continuing, work starts on the backgrounds. Alan and Monica discuss colours.
We could use these kind of colours.
Green.
And you've got the
It's
green.
fantastic.
You've got the green sky. It's
Yeah.
quite-
The other thing I do like, I like the line. We definitely have to keep the line as that's what is in the
Okay.
original drawings.
Would you like different colour lines? Like, for example, the snow has a blue line, and the house or the
yeah.
building has like a brown
like
woody,
a brown.
woody
Yeah.
line.
Yep. Yeah, I think that'd be better than just a
Okay.
stark black.
Because I would, if you have to do it by hand, might as well take advantage of
Yeah,
the,
use
the fact
10
that you
lines,
can
we could do
use,
different
yes,
colours. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, well, we'll carry on doing this, and then we'll plan sketches for the different sequences.
Before the animators can start work, the voices must be recorded. An actor is cast for Grandfather. But who will be Rue?
So you think you could make Rue bark?
I can.
You can? You
I
sure?
can. Rue, bark. Bark. Bark.
Oh, yes. And what about Grandfather? What sort of voice do you think we should have?
His character is he was a very gentle man, and but he was a very old-fashioned Englishman. So he had that way of doing things the correct way. And you'll notice in the book that a lot of the time he's quite annoyed with Rue because she doesn't actually, she's not behaving herself. The pairing up of Rue and my grandfather as an old man.
Right.
Under sort of dire conditions, under snowstorms, that they would be a good pair together.
Award-winning actor Sir Nigel Hawthorne was chosen for the voice of Grandfather, and Rue came to London to join him at the recording studio.